Left us an invaluable legacy by showing us how to explore the deepest corners of our minds to overcome life's most complex challenges. One of the greatest emotional struggles we face is how to let go of someone who, despite having left our lives, continues to occupy a constant space in our minds. How can we release someone who seems to have become a persistent shadow in our consciousness? This is a deeply human question, and Jung offers us key insights to understand and heal. The reason why someone remains in your mind is not necessarily due to love or attachment, but because that person has become a symbol of something much deeper. Perhaps they represent an unhealed wound, a fear, an insecurity, or even a part of yourself that you have repressed. According to Jung, the unconscious uses symbols to communicate with us. The people we struggle to let go of are, in reality, mirrors reflecting unresolved aspects of our psyche. When you think about that person, what emotions arise? Is it sadness, anger, nostalgia, or a mixture of everything? These emotions are messages from your unconscious. It's not just about the other person, but about what they trigger within you. Instead of trying to suppress these feelings, Jung would invite you to explore them. What story is your mind trying to tell you? Ignoring these signals only prolongs suffering, while facing them with honesty can be the first step toward liberation. The process of letting go begins with accepting that this person is not meant to have a permanent place in your life. But accepting this is not an act of resignation. It is an act of profound self-love. Many times, we hold on to someone in our minds because we cling to an idea of what could have been. We torment ourselves with endless what-ifs and create imaginary scenarios that will never materialize. This attachment to the past prevents us from embracing the present and envisioning a different future. Jung teaches us that the unconscious acts as a silent companion on our journey, showing us what we need to confront in order to grow. If that person remains present in your mind, ask yourself, what lesson do I need to learn from this experience? What part of me needs healing or transformation? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are essential for moving forward. We often get trapped in obsessive thought patterns because we resist facing the shadows these people reveal within us. The shadow, as Jung defined it, consists of those parts of our personality that we prefer not to see, the aspect of ourselves that we have repressed because we believe they are unacceptable. But the more we ignore our shadow, the more control it has over our lives. The person occupying your mind may be a constant reminder of a shadow you need to integrate. When you begin working with your shadow, something powerful happens. You stop projecting your fears and insecurities onto others. Instead of blaming that person for how you feel, you start taking responsibility for your own emotions. This is a liberating act because it restores the power you had given away to that relationship. The path to liberation also requires self-compassion. Do not punish yourself for feeling this way. Recognize that you are in a healing process and that every emotion has a purpose. Instead of fighting against your feelings, accept them as a natural part of your human experience. This approach not only alleviates pain, but also opens a door to a deeper understanding of yourself. By accepting and exploring your emotions, you take a fundamental step toward self-knowledge. Carl Jung believed that the path to wholeness is not about eliminating pain, but about integrating it. By accepting pain as a necessary part of your experience, you uncover its purpose. Every emotion has something to teach you, and every person who leaves a mark on your life is a teacher. Even if their lesson is difficult to accept, integrating your shadows not only transforms your relationship with yourself, but also with the world around you. When you stop projecting your wounds onto others, you begin to see people as they truly are, not as a mere reflection of your own fears or desires. This shift in perspective is powerful because it allows you to connect with others from a place of authenticity, rather than from a need for validation or control. It is important to understand that letting go of someone does not mean forgetting what they meant to you. Relationships, even those that come to an end, are part of your story. To deny them would be to deny a part of yourself. However, you can honor those memories without allowing them to define you. Jung would say that the past holds value, not as an anchor that keeps you stuck, but as a beacon that illuminates a path toward your evolution. One of the most transformative tools that Jung left us is the practice of introspection. Dedicate time to sitting in silence with yourself and reflecting on what that person represents in your life. What emotions do they evoke? What recurring patterns do you notice? What aspects of yourself emerge when you think about them. This exercise is not easy, but it will help you understand the roots of your attachment and provide you with clarity to move forward. Liberation is not a linear process. There will be days when you feel like you have moved on, and others when emotions resurface with intensity. This is normal. Jung reminds us that personal growth does not happen instantly, but rather in layers. Each time you confront your emotions, you are healing a deeper part of yourself. Moreover, it is crucial to surround yourself with an environment that supports your healing process. The people with whom you spend your time have a significant impact on your energy and well-being. Jung believed that our relationships are a reflection of our internal state. If you constantly surround yourself with individuals who demotivate you or reinforce negative thoughts, it will be much harder to move forward. Instead, seek connections that inspire you, remind you of your worth, and encourage you to keep growing. The process of letting go also involves redefining your identity. Many times, we tie our sense of self to a relationship or the presence of someone in our lives. We believe that without them, we are incomplete. But Jung teaches us that true wholeness does not come from external sources. It comes from our connection with ourselves. When you reconnect with yourself, you realize that you do not need anyone else to feel complete. Ask yourself, who am I outside of this relationship? What dreams, passions, and talents have I neglected while focusing on this person? Allow yourself to rediscover them. You may find that the version of yourself that emerges after this process is stronger, wiser, and more authentic than ever before. As you reconnect with yourself, you begin to notice a shift in your energy. That emotional burden you were carrying starts to dissipate, and in its place arises a sense of lightness and clarity. This is the power of letting go. It not only frees you from the weight of the past, but also opens you up to new possibilities. Carl Jung once said that life is not about avoiding suffering, but about finding meaning in every experience. And when you find that meaning, something magical happens. You transform your pain into wisdom. In this process, it is essential to cultivate practices that strengthen your internal connection. One powerful tool is writing. Take a moment to put your thoughts on paper. Write without filters, allowing your emotions to flow freely. Ask yourself, what has this relationship taught me about myself? What parts of myself do I want to embrace? And which do I need to heal? This exercise not only provides clarity, but also serves as a channel to release the emotions you've been holding inside. Another powerful practice is visualization. Imagine that you are letting go of this relationship as if it were a rope you've been tightly holding on to. Watch as it drifts away, carrying with it all the pain, attachment, and expectations that have been holding you back. In its place, visualize a radiant light filling that empty space, symbolizing your renewal. These kind of exercises are not just symbolic. They have a real impact on your mind and your energy. It is also essential to be patient with yourself. The path to healing is not linear. There will be days when you feel like you have taken enormous steps forward, and others when it seems like you are moving backward. But remember, every step, even the smallest ones, is part of your progress. Carl Jung believed that the soul has its own rhythm of healing, and forcing the process only creates more resistance. Learning to trust time and your own ability to overcome this challenge is crucial. Once you begin to free yourself from attachment, something truly extraordinary happens. You start seeing life from a completely new perspective. Jung referred to this as the process of individuation, a journey toward becoming who you truly are, free from external influences that distort your essence. This is a profoundly liberating experience because it brings you back to yourself. You realize that you are enough, that you have always been enough, and that you do not need to cling to anyone to feel whole. At this stage, it is common to experience a mix of emotions. On one hand, there is joy and liberation, but on the other, there may be an unsettling sense of emptiness. However, this emptiness is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is a fertile space, ready to be filled with new experiences, meaningful connections, and fresh dreams. Jung believed that emptiness is a prelude to creativity. So instead of resisting it, use it as an opportunity to reinvent yourself. One of the greatest gifts this process will give you is the ability to connect with others from a place of authenticity. You will no longer feel the need to seek validation or to hide parts of yourself just to be accepted. This not only transforms your relationships, but also allows you to attract people who are truly aligned with you. When you present yourself to the world as you truly are, the universe responds by bringing you connections and opportunities that resonate with your truth. When you begin to live from your authenticity, you realize something deeply transformative. You no longer need to hold on to the past to define your worth or your identity. Carl Jung believed that much of our suffering comes from identifying with what we have lost rather than with what we can create. This shift in perspective allows you to take control of your life and focus on what is yet to come, rather than remaining trapped in what is already past. The key to overcoming someone who still lingers in your mind is not in forgetting them, but in integrating what they represented into your growth. Every relationship you have had, every experience, whether good or bad, serves a purpose in your life. Jung teaches us that these interactions act as mirrors, reflecting aspects of our own psyche that we have yet to explore. When you understand this, you transform pain into growth, and what once seemed like a loss turns into an opportunity for expansion. A crucial part of this process is recognizing the expectations you place on that person. Often, attachment is not really about the person themselves, but about what they represented in your life. Maybe you believe they were the key to your happiness, your stability, or your sense of belonging. But the truth, as Jung emphasized, is that everything you seek outside of yourself already exists within you. That emptiness you were trying to fill with another person is nothing more than a disconnection from yourself. Reconnecting with yourself requires courage and a willingness to look inward. It is a journey that may be uncomfortable, but it is also profoundly liberating. Jung spoke about the importance of facing the shadows we try to avoid, those aspects of our psyche that we would rather ignore. When you confront them, you realize that the shadows are not your enemies. They are teachers, showing you what needs healing and guiding you toward a deeper understanding of who you truly are. At this point, you might ask yourself, how can I face my shadows? One effective way is through self-observation. Pay close attention to your thoughts and emotions, especially those that arise in the presence of that particular person. What recurring themes appear? Are there underlying insecurities or fears? By observing without judgment, you begin to unravel the patterns that have kept you trapped. Another powerful approach is practicing forgiveness, not only toward the other person, but also toward yourself. We often carry guilt for what we did or failed to do in a relationship, punishing ourselves with thoughts like, I should have done more, or if only I had been different. But Jung reminds us that every experience, even mistakes, is part of our path to growth. Forgiving yourself is an act of love and liberation. As you move forward on this journey, it is also essential to establish new emotional boundaries. This does not mean becoming cold or distant, but rather learning to protect your energy. When you allow someone to live in your mind constantly, you are giving away your power. Reclaiming that power requires consciously deciding where to focus your attention and energy. This not only strengthens you, but also prepares you for healthier, more balanced relationships in the future. The process of letting go is not a final destination, but an ongoing journey. Every step you take toward healing brings you closer to your true essence. And along the way, you discover that life has a natural rhythm of giving and receiving, of learning and releasing. When you embrace this flow, you realize that you do not need to cling to anything to be happy. Everything you need to live a fulfilling life is already within you. As you continue to deepen this journey of freedom and self-discovery, it is crucial to remember that the act of letting go is not an act of rejection, but an affirmation of your worth and your right to live in peace. Carl Jung emphasized that personal growth cannot occur while you remain trapped in a constant struggle with the past. Letting go does not mean erasing what was, but rather integrating those experiences as essential chapters of your story, allowing them to strengthen you rather than limit you. A crucial aspect of this process is learning to listen to your intuition. Jung described intuition as a direct connection to the unconscious, an internal guide that is always available to lead you toward what is best for you. However, in the noise of everyday life, this voice is often drowned out. It is necessary to make space to hear it, whether through meditation, contemplation in nature, or simply dedicating silent moments to be with yourself. When you allow yourself to listen, you will notice that your intuition does not pull you toward the past, but propels you forward. It invites you to release the emotional chains that bind you and to trust that what lies ahead will be better. This trust is fundamental because, many times, we cling to what is familiar out of fear of the unknown. But Jung reminds us that true growth only happens when we dare to face the uncertain with courage. The power of this approach lies in its ability to transform not only your perspective, but also your reality. According to Jung, what we experience in the external world is a direct reflection of our internal world. If you're trapped in patterns of pain, frustration, or attachment, those emotions will likely manifest in your relationships and daily experiences. But by working on your inner self, by healing and letting go, you begin to notice a tangible shift in what you attract and how you feel. This change is not just emotional, it is energetic. Every time you choose to free yourself from an attachment, you are making space for something new in your life. It's like clearing weeds from a garden. By removing what no longer serves you, you allow the flowers to grow stronger. This is the essence of synchronicity, one of the most fascinating concepts introduced by Jung. When you are aligned with yourself, the universe responds in unexpected ways, bringing into your life people, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your new vibration. At this stage, you begin to feel a renewed sense of purpose. You no longer define yourself by what you have lost, but by what you are building. This is a powerful moment to set new goals, explore forgotten passions, and reconnect with what truly makes you happy. Allow yourself to dream big, knowing that you are now in a stronger emotional place to pursue those dreams. A crucial aspect of this process is surrounding yourself with a supportive community. Jung believed that while inner work is personal, healthy relationships are fundamental to our well-being. Seek out people who share your values, who inspire you, and who motivate you to keep growing. These connections will not only provide support, but also remind you that you are not alone on this journey. Finally, remember that letting go does not mean you will never think about that person or that relationship again. Memories may resurface from time to time, and that's okay. What matters is how you choose to respond to them. Instead of letting them pull you back into the past, use them as reminders of how far you have come and the strength you have gained. As you continue on this path of self-discovery and liberation, you will realize that every step forward not only brings you closer to your authentic self, but also inspires those around you. Carl Jung said that when one person transforms, everything around them changes. This process is not just a gift to yourself, but also to the people in your life. By facing your shadows, releasing attachments, and embracing your authenticity, you become a living example of what it means to truly live. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you stopped carrying the weight of the past. Picture waking up each day with a sense of lightness, with the certainty that you are aligned with your purpose, and with the freedom to create the life you truly desire. This is not an unattainable dream. It is a reality you can build by making the right decisions, one at a time. Letting go of someone who still lingers in your mind is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of an exciting new chapter. By integrating everything we have explored today, it becomes clear that the process of healing and releasing is not just an act of letting go, but also a creation. You are building a life based on your truth, your peace, and your purpose. And on this journey, every decision you make, every step you take, will be a testament to your strength and commitment to yourself. Now, I invite you to reflect on what we have shared. What steps are you willing to take today to begin freeing that person from your mind? What dreams, goals, or projects have you put on hold that you are now ready to pursue? Your transformation begins with decision, and that decision is in your hands. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to be part of this growing community. Share this video with someone who needs it, someone struggling to let go, or who needs to be reminded of their own power. Every time you share content like this, you are helping more people discover these tools and reflections that can change lives. Leave your thoughts in the comments. What part of this message touched your heart? What actions are you willing to take after hearing it? I would love to read your experiences and reflections. Remember, your words could be the encouragement someone else needs to take a step toward their own transformation. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future messages like this. Every interaction matters, not just to help this content reach more people, but to create a community where we can all grow together. Change begins with you, And by sharing your light, you inspire others to find their own. Thank you for being here, for being part of this journey, and for choosing to transform your life from within. See you in the next video. Until then, remember, your power to change your reality is always within you.